So it's no secret that the market has been pretty rough over the last couple of days. Now, during this time, I have been utilizing it to really look at and focus on projects that are extremely strong during this wave down, because when the market bounces back, these will most likely be the top movers. Now, if we're thinking about that, is HBAR one of those projects? Well, we're going to be talking about that and addressing it here shortly. But first, I want to go over a few things. Number one, where are we at this cycle? I've been telling you guys that we're in phase 2, where we're really kind of just watching Ethereum, waiting for Ethereum to do its thing. And I think that today, Ethereum is still showing us that, right? It's up about 4.6% or so, almost about 5%, compared to Bitcoin's practically nothing gains today, almost 1%, nothing too crazy there. So again, Ethereum is still bouncing stronger here. Ethereum is still leading the pack, in my opinion. And that will most likely continue to be a trend going forward. Now, we still have a lot of work to do with Bitcoin and Ethereum to even celebrate and say, oh yeah, let's just wait for HBAR to go crazy over the next couple of days. No, that's not going to be the case. We need to watch Bitcoin and Ethereum closely. We need to see them regain some strength and momentum. That way, we can look at HBAR and altcoins and say, all right, well, now it's time for them to start to really bounce back in a big way. But again, in terms of HBAR, this is what the market looks like. Whereas HBAR in terms of the top 100, here we have HBAR down here about 3% today, almost up. Not too crazy, not too bad at all. It's about 3.05%, I believe, or it was 3.05%. Now it's down a little bit at about roughly like 2.87%. But overall, not too bad. If we really think about this on the 1 month, this is not a bad, move on HBAR to be down about 10.3% compared to most of the other losers in terms of the top 100. Let's just go back to the last 30 days, because again, this was on the 1 month. So in terms of 1 month on the last 30 days, the top 100, yeah, sure, there's a lot of great gains out there as well. But if we're looking at the list here, there's a lot of losers as well in the top 100, down, 40%, 30%, 20%. So, for HBAR being down only about roughly like 10% or so, it's not too bad at all. So again, HBAR looking pretty strong on this recent move. I mean, this is what the price chart looks like right now. Sorry for interrupting the video, but I have to let you guys know that I am now officially partnered up with ITrust Capital, the best platform out there for premium custody accounts and even crypto Roth IRAs. They offer 80 plus digital assets, including even physical gold and silver. They have partnerships with some of the biggest players out there, and they also have full-on institutional grade security tied into these accounts, which is extremely important at a time where we are starting to see more and more crypto exchanges being hacked. And also, the best part about ITrust Capital is that it's 100% US-based support. And also, you can get $100 right now as a funding bonus if you sign up utilizing my link. There's going to be a link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below. If you go over here, you can just scroll down to the bottom and you can sign up utilizing my link, which allows you to get $100 in a funding bonus. And for a little bit more information here you have on their website, 0% no monthly annual fees, 1% cryptocurrency transaction fees, and then we also have the prices with gold and silver. So if you guys do want to go check this out, you guys are more than welcome to. I do think that this is the best platform to lock in on long-term crypto investments with, of course, the crypto IRA platform, which is tax advantaged. So with that being said, let's dive on in back to the video. Currently, we're looking at this on the 3-day. The only thing that I don't like about HBAR's current setup is just the structure. The structure isn't the best because we do have lower lows and lower highs technically on the chart, but we are starting to trail here in this wedge where, if this does continue and we chop still to the downside of like 22 cents or so, we will eventually break back out of this wedge, retest it, and then continue higher, where we should break over some of these previous highs. The main thing that I'm looking at is roughly breaking over 30.5 cents. And then after 30.5 cents is cleared, we look at some of the highs back here in December and January. Initially, we will need to fight the resistance from December at about roughly like 33.5 cents almost. Then the resistance from the recent candle of January, about 36 cents. And then we look at the wicks here around like 40 cents. And then after that's broken, we will target the all-time high up around like 56 cents. But so far, the chart is telling us that we shouldn't really be concerned right now with HBAR. I feel like the strength on HBAR is actually pretty strong because, again, when we think about it, HBAR hasn't really lost a ton of, value and support on this recent move. So again, HBAR looking pretty good here. Nothing to be concerned with in my opinion. Now, on top of that, we've been seeing HBAR making a ton of noise around the space. If we actually look, we could see that HBAR has been trending all over X. Here we have from Hedera Foundation, HBAR is trending again. There's about 16.4K posts around HBAR, and this did, cause it to trend. Now, why was HBAR trending? Is there a huge announcement? Is the price going crazy? Well, we already know that the price isn't going crazy. And was there huge announcements? Not exactly. I mean, listen, when we think about it, I think that this kind of goes back to SIBOS, right? There was an announcement that Hedera is headed to SIBOS. This did get some love, get some support as well. And this is going to be one of the biggest events around crypto, around digital finance, around finance itself, because again, this is hosted by Swift. We have joined us to discover how Hedera is powering the future of digital finance, explore real-world solutions built on Hedera from tokenization and instant cross-border payments to real-time treasury micropayments, digital identity, and AI. Learn about HBAR, the private network powered by Hedera Tech. Connect with our experts on the latest trends and innovations as well. Now, if we're looking at this event, this is the breakdown. So it is going to be in Frankfurt, Germany on September 29th through October 2nd. So we still have some time until we actually get to that event. But this is hosted by Swift, and we actually have here that from tokenization to instant cross-border payments, 24/7 real-time treasury micropayments, digital identity, and AI, Hedera delivers the performance, compliance, and trust to power the new digital economy. Here's real-world impact. We do have all of the names that are tied back to Hedera. Stop by booth DISM 67 to meet our team of experts and discover how leading organizations are building on and integrating with Hedera to unlock value. Now, what's crazy about this is we do have all of the key things: payments, tokenization, AI, digital identity, and even HBAR, which is that, private public tech. It's technically the private network for Hedera. That will be the powerhouse initially for these enterprise grade use cases and institutional grade use cases before they adopt the public network side of Hedera. But all of this is a huge amount of exposure for Hedera to be spotlighted at an event this size. That's going to provide a lot of substance for these major players to tap into, learn more about Hedera, and see what they can accomplish utilizing the Hedera technology. Now, in terms of SIBOS, who's going to be there? Well, we can see here that there's a ton of major banks. JP Morgan's going to be there. The Federal Reserve is going to be there. Citi, Australian Payments Plus, which is a Hedera partner, GC member as well. HSBC, National Bank of Georgia, Federal Reserve again, Bank of Hong Kong, and there's a lot more as well. This is hosted by Swift. The craziest part about this is like all based around digital finance, which is, again, we're right there. We're right at the starting point for the biggest revolution in finance. We even have here the next frontiers of global finance, because again, we're at that big point where almost everyone is realizing the power of digital tech, right? We're looking at digital finance, stablecoins, tokenization. All of this stuff is the next frontier, if you will, to global finance. And I think that Swift's even, I think Swift knows about this. They've been collaborating with some big players, working with Chainlink, working with the DTCC, and they are aware of how disruptive this tech is. But here we actually have the full program. So it is based around the next frontiers of global finance. The outline below offers a preview of the topics. So there's going to be a ton of topics. I can't go over all of this, but we could see a few things, right? Do I really need to choose between private and public blockchains? No. With, HBAR, for an example, in Hedera, you could tap into both sides. Then we also have Meet the Experts, the rise of agentic AI for financial services, smart transaction monitoring using AI for payment anomalies. This is from Swift, actually. So yeah, listen, it's crazy, but there's going to be so much talked about at this event. So many big players, so many major banks, financial giants. I'm very excited about this. And the fact that Hedera is going to be there, again, is a very, very good, thing, because again, it provides a lot of exposure. It provides possible, partnerships, integrations, networking. So very excited about this. There's going to be so much talked about. So this is definitely one that you guys are not going to want to miss. So add this to your calendar. And I think that this is in part why we are starting to see Hedera trend. On top of that, we also did get a big update about HBAR getting spotlighted by Archix. This definitely helped as well. 19.5K views, 650 likes. A lot of people did enjoy reading more about HBAR just from Archix. Archix is a pretty big name in this space now at this point. On top of that, we also did get, some big announcements around Hedera. Number one, Backpack. Now, you might not think that Backpack's that big. 308,000 followers. This is that all-in-one crypto wallet and exchange. And now they have new perps that are live, and HBAR is one of those perps that you could trade. This was a pretty big announcement. On top of that, Gravity also did announce that HBAR was available to trade on their platform. Again, you might not think this is a big name, but they have 499,000 followers. So HBAR was definitely trending. It was definitely out there. A lot of people were looking into HBAR, and it's for good measure. On top of that, GMX also announced, by the way, GMX is a pretty large project in the space, 230,000+ followers, introducing a new market for traders and liquidity pools on GMX, HBAR USD from Hedera. So again, another big update. This is great to see. The market expansion and exposure for Hedera is starting to become a big deal at this point. But on top of all of this, was this the only reason why HBAR was trending? Because of an announcement with, SIBOS, a few listings, a few spotlights? No, it wasn't. In fact, a lot of the reason why Hedera is starting to trend right now is because of the NFT space. That's right. NFTs, you thought they were dead? Over the last 7 days, Dead Pixels Club did more trading volume than the top 3 base NFT projects combined. Guys, Base is a massive platform, almost 1 million followers. This is from the largest exchange around crypto, basically. This is Coinbase's network, and Dead Pixels, an NFT project on Hedera, did more trading volume than the top 3 NFT projects on Base combined. This is insane. 5.2 million HBAR, equivalent to 293 Ethereum. This is extremely exciting to see. On top of that, we also did see HBAR or Hedera get included on the RWA side of the market for social activity. Hedera was number 4 on the list. RWAs are showing accelerating social interest across the board, with social mentions rising on all assets. Which real-world assets are seeing the most activity? Well, Hedera was number 4. I do suspect at some point in time, because again, if we're going back to this announcement with SIBOS, we know that tokenization is going to be, a spotlighted discussion on Hedera. We know tokenization on Hedera has been growing significantly. In terms of the tokenization side, they're telling us that there's $2 billion in Hedera ecosystem market cap just tied to tokenization projects. There's also about $50 million worth of tokenized assets on Hedera right now currently. Now, I don't know if this has been updated because, again, I haven't really seen anything like this get updated on the platform or on their website, I should say. But the biggest thing that I'm waiting for is for Hedera activity to be tracked on rwa.xyz. There's 7 assets on here, so they are preparing to, really track the value on Hedera. But the main thing that I'm looking at here is, even if it is just $50 million, where would that put HBAR in the top list? Well, $50 million would put it at about roughly 16. I don't think that we only have $50 million, though. I would assume that the value on Hedera is probably in, I don't want to say billions just yet. I know that that's jumping ahead. There's definitely a possibility that there is billions on Hedera because of all the announcements that we have witnessed over time. But I would say a safe bet would be about $200 to $300 million. And that would put it at about roughly number 12 or number 10. It could be a lot more, but I do think that the second that we start to see Hedera, value being tracked on rwa.xyz, it's going to change the perspective of almost everything in crypto. I think that a lot of eyes are going to be on Hedera at that time. I think that a lot of people are going to realize just how big Hedera is for an RWA chain. They're not even an RWA-based chain, but the fact that there's so many players tokenizing on Hedera should really tell you exactly where Hedera is headed. But all of this combined is exactly why Hedera has been trending recently. you know, Hedera is not slowing down. In fact, it's accelerating, which is why the price action on HBAR has also been pretty strong, even on some of the craziest moves in the market. Right now, we're just squeezing here in this wedge. I'm waiting for us to actually break out. I'm waiting for us to clear some of these previous highs. And the second that we do, I do think that HBAR is going to go insane. Now, we still need to wait for the market to bounce back. But once the market bounces back, like I said in the beginning of this video, these extremely strong projects are going to be some of the top movers. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next here in the market. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.